Education will be one of the highest profile topics at the Capitol this session. Expect to hear heated debate over education savings accounts, parents' rights, and school districts pushing again for increased public education funding. We want to go a little deeper. Education reporter Nabil Remadna joins us now. Let's start with education savings accounts. Opponents call them school vouchers. Governor Abbott calls it school choice. The plan failed to pass last year, but the dynamics are different now. What can we expect?
We're already starting to see some of the impacts of schools not getting that funding. A perfect example, Eanes ISD. They have to close a school. They also have to cut off a program, a Spanish immersion program that was catering to about 900 students. So years and years of not getting this funding here has really made an impact. Most of the districts across the state, and certainly here in Central Texas, they're in a budget deficit. They've not seen an increase to the basic allotment since 2019. Everything costs more these days, and we saw districts come to voters in November asking for tax rate increases to offset those costs. Now, last year, the governor's plan failed after a standoff between school choice advocates and those who believed education savings accounts would be detrimental to public school funding. But you're right, the dynamics are different since last session. Governor Abbott has been talking about the fact that he has more votes than he needs to pass education savings accounts. It's looking like it's now more of a matter of what the specifics of the plan would be, but there are at least two bills in the House that would create education savings accounts, and they're different from the perspective of how much money would be allocated to participating students and different in what they would be able to spend those funds on. Now, one of those plans has a provision that the school district in the area where participating students live would get a certain percentage of state funding tied to the student. It'll be interesting, of course, to see how these plans play out.
There are more than 100 bills filed right now that would impact public education. One theme we're seeing is parents' rights, right?
Yeah, that's right. A lot of the bills, they focus on parents' rights. One bill proposes a handbook, that's SB 204, on parental rights and training requirements around parental rights for school boards. Another bill, SB 408, that would create an inspector general for the Texas Education Agency to investigate complaints from parents about public schools. Also a bill that's trying to require a certain notification about health-related services offered to a student. But wrapped up in that bill is a requirement that schools not provide instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity.
This will be a theme we'll be keeping an eye on for sure. Thank you very much, Nabil.
Absolutely.
I believe conservatives in my generation, we have to step up for the future of Texas, for the future of our kids and the next generation.
The first day of the legislative session brought a lot of new faces to the Capitol.
You do have a life-saving impact on the policies that do get passed.
Coming up, we'll hear from two new lawmakers to get insight into what led them to the legislature and how they hope to make a difference. Plus, what do Texas voters want lawmakers to prioritize? We look closer at new polling to get insight into the issues that could drive debate at the Capitol.